All right, you guys, now we're moving into the land of triplets. All right, what is a triplet? Well, you've definitely heard them before, and fiddle tunes. We've not really played any very much so far here in this course, but they're definitely something to kind of have in your back pocket to be able to play. I remember hearing a guy named Wayne Benson from the band Third Time Out play triplets for the first time when I was a kid on some of those recordings, and it just blew my mind. I was like, how is he doing this? It sounded like sounded like magic, kind of. He could play a whole blur of notes, and we're going to kind of dive deeper into these as we go along further in the course, but I wanted to do kind of a basic intro to triplets and get you incorporating these into your playing in a simple way. To begin with. I remember also getting to sit down with my hero friend Chris Thiele when I was about 10 years old, and I was starting to improvise, and I remember I was getting to ask him some questions, kind of like pick his brain about playing a little bit, and I mentioned something about triplets, and he said, yeah, when you start learning triplets, it's kind of like crossing over to the dark side, it's easy to be tempted to just want to use them all the time because you're like, oh, look at how many notes I can play, but the goal here is to be able to learn to do this, learn how to use them, and then we have to be wise about how we apply them into our playing. Anything that's sort of a fancy move, if you will, on the instrument can really be used in poor taste sometimes if we kind of overdo it. So they can be really effective and awesome if we're using them in some cool spots. But I'm going to encourage you to also just take some of the music that you're already working on and be able to try to apply some of these techniques. So what is a triplet? Okay, what do I even mean when I'm talking about triplet? I've talked about how, feels like trickery. Well, it's essentially, it can sound like a blur of notes sometimes if it's done fast, if it's played at a fast tempo, but basically we're able to get 3 notes per every beat. Okay, so if we're counting normal, let's get the metronome going and kind of just get used to our normal kind of groove here with the metronome. All right, so if we were to just count 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we talked about how we know we can get our 8th notes going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so within every beat we can also count 3 beats, right? So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. And so if you can kind of get that count going in your head, another way that you can think of it is triplet, 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 triplet. And a good way we can kind of start this is to, again, take something like your basic G major scale. You guys know this? You know that piece of cake by now. Okay, so if we were to think of how we could take 3 notes and play them within that one beat, da-ba-da, da-ba-da. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, and oftentimes you have 3 beats that connect with the 4th. So what happens is we'll land playing a note on the 2nd beat. So triplet, 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 da-ba-da-da, 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 da-ba-da-da. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So let me just try to explain that without even playing a note so far. Let me just deaden the strings. So it's a little hard to hear that way, I guess so. So you see, when I get to that G, I'm actually landing on the next number. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So by the time I hit that G, I'm right on the click. So a lot of times we'll play these in groups of 4, even though the triplet part is actually just the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you can kind of loop this series of notes, which usually, if you want to land this, you'll land on the next downbeat, right? So we kind of have to feel it that way. So let's take our basic major scale here and try to get this this under our fingers with something that we've played a bunch, right? So we've played that a lot by now. All right, so if we want to kind of count this in, there's a couple different ways we could think of it. Let's think of it slower and then we'll think of it faster, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, da ba da da. Da ba da da, da ba da da, da ba da da. Again, just straight up the scale. You could move to the G string. Now notice every time I get to the 4th note, I'm right on the next beat. Okay, let's try something else. So let's try something simple like that. Now that feels easy when we play it as quarter notes, right? If we put it in chunks of 3 like this, it'll feel a little bit slower. But we can turn that into a triplet by speeding it up. So in the context of Red-Haired Boy, when we move forward, you'll kind of hear how this all fits into place. But there's basically a bunch of different ways you can apply this. If you sort of think of triplet, 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 triplet. At this speed, it almost is hard to tell that it's even a triplet because this is pretty slow, but triplet, 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 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ba 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 ba. So if you sped that up, if we thought of this as 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You could just keep walking up the scale. So you could practice this in little patterns in any way you want, but this is sort of just getting that sound into your ear, and we'll take a look at how to actually put this into some songs as we move forward.